Early on the morning of June 6th, the largest amphibious force ever seen in battle moved into position off the French coast. 5,000 warships poised for an all-out assault on Hitler's first line of defense. 5 regiments of Americans in the first wave waited for the signal to hit a crucial 5-mile strip in the center of the invasion zone, Omaha Beach. Yards offshore, the assault boat carrying Acting Sergeant Larry Knapp hit a sandbar and the ramp went down. 20-year-old Knapp was raised in his father's World War I stories. Now he faced his own combat in France.
I'd been in the Merchant Marine and it looked like I'd get assigned to the Murmansk run, convoy duty in the North Atlantic. I didn't like the odds at sea and I couldn't swim, so I went into the Army. Well, here I was, wading through surf up to my chest, and that was low tide. I didn't have much time to think about it, though. When the water was around my ankles, I looked down. There were these little splashes. I thought, is it raining? It was German machine gun fire. The Krauts were shooting at us from the high ground up on the bluff beyond the beach. They were dug in and camouflaged. You couldn't see them except for the flash of their muzzles. I started firing at the bluff, and the guy next to me says, "What are you firing at?" "Man," I said, "those bastards are up there somewhere. We gotta blast them out if we're ever gonna get off this beach."
For an hour before the landings began, American naval guns pounded the Germans with long-range fire. It didn't knock out as many of their positions as the plans called for, but Larry Knapp was grateful for any help he could get.
There were cruisers and destroyers running up and down, raking the coast. I could hear the Texas or some other battleship out there banging away with 16-inch guns, real heavy stuff. But we couldn't get enough of our smaller pieces onto the beach to zero in on the guys right above us.
Nothing seemed to go right. Amphibious jeeps and tanks sank in unexpectedly choppy seas. Landing craft skippers dropped men in full battle gear in the water way above their heads. The Germans had added some complications of their own.
There were these big poles out around the low tide line, maybe 12, 14 feet tall, and on top of them were 25-pound telemines. When the tide came in, boatloads of soldiers got dashed up against them and blew sky high.
So, waves of assault troops kept coming ashore. For them, as for Larry Knapp, there was nowhere to go except straight ahead, across that 300-yard stretch of open beach.
You had to keep moving. I saw some guys jump in a big shell hole to take cover. Well, bango, another 88 came in right on top of them. You knew to stay away from tanks or half-tracks. Anything that would draw fire. If you stayed cool, you'd be okay. After we crossed the sand, we got stuck behind this clay bank. It was almost 4 feet high with barbed wire on top, with a minefield beyond. We were pinned down there maybe 3-4 hours, while the Krauts worked over the guys behind us trying to get onto the beach. Things were really a mess down there. ICMs and LCIs were turned over in the water like someone had flipped a stack of pancakes. One of them had a hole in it so big you could have walked in standing up. And it seemed as if someone had turned a box of wooden matches upside down. That's the way the bodies were spread out across the sand. That was someplace, that bloody Omaha.
At midday, things were still bad. The invasion was way behind schedule. The Germans held the heights. If they counterattacked, they'd shove us right back into the sea.